CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Election Day is still 4 days away, but it seems many people have already made up their mind about who they'll vote for. Voter turnout is high as advance polls opened across Alberta today. As Terry Vote reports, the polling stations in both Lethbridge East and Lethbridge West have been busier than expected.
At the Lethbridge Senior Centre, where an advanced poll is set up for the Lethbridge East constituency, there have been lineups throughout the day. Election workers say people were waiting for the poll to open, and there's been a steady stream of voters ever since. It's the same story at the advanced poll for Lethbridge West. It's located on the ground floor of the Lethbridge Centre Mall.
At 9 o'clock when our polls opened, till about 11:30, we've had at least 25 people waiting in both lines, so it's been very busy.
Election staff say compared to recent past elections, the early turnout at this advanced poll has been high. While the wait might be a little longer, no one is complaining.
At least a lot of people are voting, and that's what counts most of all.
We have worked in some of the elections and we have seen the turnout has been very poor, which is very sad. The people have a right to vote and they're not using their right. Very sad.
The trend has been disappointing. Since Lethbridge was divided into two electoral districts back in 1971, voter turnout has dropped from 74% to 34% in the last provincial election. But voters sense this time it might be different.
There are some younger candidates, and they've really been engaged with the university student population.
It's encouraging that there's lots of people voting, because I think it should be 100% people voting.
The advance polls will be open until 8 p.m. tonight and from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday and Saturday. Terry Vote, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Election officials say voters should be aware that there is only one advance polling location in each Lethbridge constituency. But on Election Day, there will be 80 polling stations in Lethbridge West and 78 in Lethbridge East. Now, a class of grade 7 students are participating in the Student Vote 2012 campaign. They're learning about the provincial campaign and the importance of getting out to vote. Michael Popov reports.
Sometimes the politician gets in hot water.
Mike Forbes' students at Wilson Middle School are learning all about the provincial election through an initiative called Student Votes 2012. They're learning how to vote, what the issues are, and why politicians say the things they say.
It's a heyday for current events. Every week in the Calgary Herald, I have something that I can show to the class and we get to discuss it.
He's talking about the remarks made by a Wild Rose candidate in Calgary about having an advantage for being white, and Raj Sherman's Twitter remarks calling right-wing candidates homophobic and corrupt.
The Wild Rose earlier in the week, and then the Liberal Party just today. So may I say, gentlemen, thank you for making my class vibrant.
Sure. Learning about the different groups and what they say about each other and just how they're not very nice.
Thanks to Vote Canada, the students are able to use polling and ballot boxes to simulate an election. They've nominated an election returning officer as well as other voting officials. They've been immersed in the entire election process.
I guess it's just getting us ready for when we're able to vote. So, yeah, that should be just help us when we're older. Well, I learned a lot more about the parties and how to vote and what decisions to make when you're voting.
It's making me really, really excited to start voting and to look for, to sign up for these different things and see what they say.
And hopefully this is doing something to amend the fact that only 40% of us went out and voted in the last provincial election. In 5 years, they're voting. So maybe they'll remember this one tiny moment and go, yeah, I want to cast my ballot.
In as little as 5 years, the kids walking these halls will become eligible voters. Educators hope through programs like these to ignite an interest in politics and increase those numbers. Michael Popov, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Student Vote 2012 is a province-wide initiative. At least 12 Lethbridge schools are participating, ranging in grades from 6 to 12. Organizers are preparing for a big turnout at Lethbridge's last election forum tonight. Lethbridge East and Lethbridge West candidates will be put on the hot seat at the Yates Centre starting at 7 o'clock, but seats will fill up quickly. The candidates will also take part in a meet and greet tomorrow morning at the Lethbridge Senior Citizens Association. And the momentum appears to be shifting in the race to the legislature. A new CTV poll finds that in the last few days of the campaign, the gap between the Conservatives and Wild Rose is tightening. The Wild Rose is still in the lead with 41% of voter support, but the PCs are picking up momentum. They are 8 points back with 33. The Liberals and NDP are tied with 11% each. Coming up at 5:30, is the shift enough to make a difference, or is it too little too late? Dory Rossiter, come election day, we're going to see a high of around 25 degrees.
I know, and there's absolutely no excuse for people not to get out and vote, as was related in that story. It's our right, and we should be out there doing that. So the weather's going to cooperate. All you got to do is get out and get to your polling station. But yes, you're right, Jackie. Lots of sunshine on the way, very stable air mass moving in, and that always bodes well for a nice weekend. I'll have more details coming up.
Sounds good, Dory. Well, it will almost be a year before a Medicine Hat man charged in the murder and sexual assault of a 2-year-old boy will stand trial. Paramedics were called to this Medicine Hat home last June, where they found a toddler suffering from head injuries. He later died in hospital. Police say TJ Heller was looking after the child at the time. Heller has been ordered to stand trial on charges of first-degree murder, sexual assault, sexual interference, and interfering with human remains. Heller's trial is set to start on March 18, 2013. It's expected to last 4 weeks. A man charged with the second-degree murder of a Brockett man says the victim actually stabbed himself. Derek Plourd was charged after a fight on a rural property west of Coleman back in September of 2009. George English died at the scene. Today, court watched a reenactment video that Plourd did with RCMP officers a few months after the incident. In it, Plourd says he was attacked by English after Plourd caught him and his wife together. Plourd says English stabbed himself in the neck during a struggle with a knife. A medical examiner was the last witness to take the stand today. Dr. Sam Andrews testified that he performed an autopsy on the victim. English had been stabbed 3 times in the abdomen, back, and the neck. Dr. Andrews says, though, it was the stab wound in the neck that killed him. The Crown continues their case tomorrow. The investigation into last November's massive grass fire west of Lethbridge is now complete, and no charges will be laid. The fire started on the Blood Reserve, and the flames spread 15 kilometers during a powerful windstorm. The blaze started when a wind gust blew embers from a fire being used to heat a sweat lodge got out of control. Hundreds of Lethbridge residents were forced from their homes. No one was seriously injured, but 2 families on the Blood Reserve lost their homes. The Crown Prosecutor's Office has reviewed all the material and determined that no charges will be laid. A major employer on the Crow's Nest Pass has announced it's closing its doors. The city's population has been declining over the past decade, and many locals are concerned that the community won't be able to recover from yet another blow. Alicia Fieldberg reports.
One of the largest employers in the Crow's Nest Pass is closing after 51 years in the landscape. A company spokesperson says the Devon gas plant near Coleman is shutting down because the facility is getting old and natural gas prices have been low for many years. Many residents are concerned how the loss of 35 full-time positions could affect the community.
Worried, yeah. People move away, and because there's not much to keep people here, especially the younger people.
The income's going to be here to support the business like the stores here.
It's going to really hurt our community. You know, they've been a really good supporter of all the events that go on in town.
The Crow's Nest Pass Director of Finance says the closure of Devon Canada's Coleman operations will significantly decrease the local tax base. She estimates it will cut out $185,000. To help make up the difference, the municipality just passed a 3-year budget with a 2.5% increase to taxes each year. While some residents are worried this may drive more people away, the Crow's Nest Pass mayor says the municipal district is working to develop other opportunities so people can commute but not uproot.
They live here mainly for the beautiful scenery, the environment, the local culture, and they're willing to travel rather than move to some of these other sites and live there.
The mayor is also hopeful the provincial government might help establish more industry in the area. Some locals are worried about the timeline to develop these opportunities.
It's nothing nowadays in the process of an environmental impact studies that you have to do. Nothing happens quickly.
While some residents aren't sure the community can recover, others are hopeful.
We're down, but we're not beaten.
We're very resilient. We'll survive because we are tougher than hell, okay? We're mountain men.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Crow's Nest Pass.
The municipal district is also working on developing tourist opportunities in the Crow's Nest Pass. The regional skill competition for Southern Alberta high school students is being held today at Lethbridge College. The annual event showcases the skills of students in the areas of trades and technology. Over 90 students are working on projects ranging from fashion design to cooking to welding. Organizers are hoping by showcasing the trades, it may persuade more to enter technical schools.
It's a good opportunity for them to come to the college and check out our program as well, and to see our facilities, and then to get to work right here as well, and to showcase their skills that they've learned in their high school.
And winners in each category will go to the provincial finals in Edmonton that's being held in May. And to the markets now, where both the TSX and Loonie closed on a down note.